Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Dark Art Society podcast. My name is Chet. I'm your host. And what is the date today? Today is the 13th of June, 2023. And this week we have dark artist Ash Darq. And she's a great visionary dark artist. And gotten to know her over the last few years. She's taken my mentorship course, and I've really got to see her develop into a really incredible artist. And she's got a great vision. And she's really cool to talk to and interesting person. So we had her on the podcast, and she has a show coming up, which I've in Shadow Realms. But the info's in the description of the podcast. It's kind of a crazy day here today. If you hear any construction sounds, it's because my neighbor's working on his house. So I'm trying to get this in before they start using the grinder or whatever they were just using. Hopefully it won't happen while I'm doing this. It's been a crazy day. We have a new dog. It's a pug named Tater. He's really cool dog, but he woke up, puked all over the bed, and then he started swelling up, and he must have gotten bitten by a spider or something and had an allergic reaction, but he was swollen all over the place. He had welts on him. It was crazy. He's better now. Everything's gone down, and but man, what a way to wake up at 5 a.m. And then the other day, I told this story in the podcast. We recorded the podcast. Ash and I recorded the podcast for the first 20 minutes, and it wasn't recording. So I told this story, and then I didn't tell it when we resumed recording. So another weird thing that happened is I saw my dogs. This was a couple days ago. I saw my dogs had something kind of cornered in an area of my yard. They weren't doing anything to it, but they were just kind of looking, and there was a crow there, and it couldn't fly really. So I went and I kind of tried to get it, put the dogs in, went and tried to get it, and it flew a little bit, and then it kind of wandered across the street. It was nighttime. It was trash night, so I knew coyotes were coming out. Coyotes come in our neighborhood on trash night and in the middle of the night when the trash is out. And so I was like, I got to get this crow. So I went, I looked for it. I found it kind of crouching in a little corner, and I had some leather gloves on, put it in a box, and just kind of, it didn't seem, I couldn't see any injuries on it, but it seemed kind of in shock. So I put it in the box, taped the top up so it couldn't get out, and gave it some breathing holes, and just kind of let it sleep overnight, because it was also raining. That was the other thing. It was all rainy out. And the next day I just took it out in the back, opened the box. It took a big shit, and then it flew off. So it was all good. It was so cool. So cool. I was worried that thing was going to die or something, but it flew up, and then it has a mate that it's been hanging around with. They've been here for a little while. And so it started kind of making some crow sounds, and then its partner came. I think it was the male came. I think the one I got was a female, because it was slightly smaller. I think they're a little bit smaller. And yeah, and they lived happily ever after so far. So that's been what's going on with me. Other than that, this Medusa commission back here. I'm releasing a new print of a painting called The Medium. You may have seen it. I'm releasing that Friday to the public. Of course, my patrons on Patreon get first dibs at it. It's the first time I've ever done two variants. I'm releasing two variant prints at the same time, so that'll be an interesting experiment. If you want to support my Patreon and get offers like these and first dibs at all my new stuff, you can go to patreon.com/ChetZar and join for as little as $1 a month. I think I'm going to be raising the price on my Patreon. I might grandfather in the $1 and $3 tiers and put them all in a $5 tier. So if you get in on the $1 or $3 tiers, I'll grandfather you in, and you won't have to pay the $5. But after that, I think at some point, as soon as I can get it together. I'm going to raise it to just $5 because it's really good. I put a lot of content on there, and it's just where everything I'm doing is on Patreon. I'm posting stuff on there pretty much every day. Anyway, also, if you want to support the podcast, you can go to patreon.com/Darq Art Society. That you can join as little as $1 as well. And get your name read on the air, and you get in the secret Facebook group. And let's see, who are the new subscribers? I have them somewhere in here. Let's see. I don't know if I said Kevin Bostic. Thank you. Rob Elrod. Thank you. Let me see if there's any others. Oh, Derek Moore. Heather Gillies. I'm not sure if I read these because Ken Jeremiahson. I think I have read these ones because I had to take. That's the other thing is I had to take 2 weeks off because from the podcast. First week, I had stuff going on, and I couldn't get to it. Second week, I had 3 potential guests, and none of them could make it. And I was hoping that at least one of them could make it. So, that's why I was off for 2 weeks. That's pretty much it. That's everything that's going on. I think that's it. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anything. Well, the power tools didn't go off. The construction work didn't start, so that's a good sign. Maybe I should just end it here. And you want to get to the Ash Darq interview anyway. You don't want to hear me talk. So here we go. My interview with Ash Darq. Hope you enjoy it. Here it goes. Hello, Ash.
Oh, hello.
Good to talk to you for the first time here. Oh my God.
I know, wow.
Okay.
I haven't seen you in so long.
We recorded for 20 minutes and it stopped recording after 3 minutes. This is terrible. I'm so embarrassed. I feel bad. I don't know what the hell happened, so I'm going to keep an eye on this. Anyway.
Yeah,
how's it going? I'm not telling the crow story over again. I'm not doing any of that shit.
Oh, no.
I'll tell it in the intro. Oh man, yeah. We have to just okay. We have to just start over.
This is what comedians do. They have to pretend they're saying everything for the first time.
I know. It's so irritating. Oh, it was going so well too. I have to say though, it was just starting to get in the flow. So I think now that we start it, it's going to be more in the flow the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
It's funny because I've gotten that like sick feeling back though. So is it just something to do with like starting? I don't know.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
it'll go away. It'll go away
it'll go away. I can't wait.
Half the time. So we have to basically start over and so let me see. Where do I start? Well, it's good to see you. It's good to see you.
Yeah.
We've talked about having you on the show for a while now, and it seemed like since you have the show coming up, what's the name of the show?
It's called In Shadow Realms.
In Shadow Realms.
June 23rd, Melbourne.
And what's the gallery?
Australia. It's called Black Spark Cultural Centre.
Called what?
Black Spark Cultural Centre.
Cultural
Spark.
Spark. Yeah. You do a good American accent too. You're always making fun of me on when we do the mentorships.
You know what? I thought about this not that long ago, but in high school, I used to just drop into the American accent all the time, and it was probably really unnerving for people because I had no control, but I just would do it. Like I don't know, because I guess we watch so much American TV.
Oh yeah.
But I was constantly doing it. So, but I think that people would have just thought I was so weird. I'm pretty sure people used to ask me like, "Why are you doing an American accent?" Anyway.
It's good. It's a good one. I think it's funny. Every once in a while, I'll say a word and you'll be like, "R." It'll be like some.
Yeah, it's always an R word, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you do a good Valley Girl too.
Yeah, Time Valley Girl. That's basically the main one that I do.
So anything.
Yes.
Anyway, okay, anyway, we go back a few years. We've said this all before, but
Yes.
we recorded it and it
Yeah.
didn't, and we lost it. But I'll kind of go over it again. We've sort of been online friends for a few years through the Dark Art Society. I've been a fan of your work. I like that. One thing I didn't say.
Ooh,
Here's what I like about your work. I like
okay.
that you are, and I've said this to you before.
Ooh.
You have one foot in the visionary world and one foot in the dark art world, and I think that's really a good place to be. So I appreciate that about your work. It's like dark visionary
Yeah.
art, I guess, is probably
Yeah.
maybe a good way to say it.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't really know where it fits. I don't know if it fits kind of anywhere, but I mean, it's fine. But
That's a good,
yeah,
usually a good place to be.
yeah, yeah.
Your own category.
I'm grateful that that I think that the visionary world, what do they call it? The vision train that Amanda Sage
Mm-hmm.
started. Like they share my stuff pretty regularly. And I don't know if it's because I know one of the people part of it, Patty, who's Australian, but there's also Alicia, who's like Amanda's second hand. What do you call that?
Right,
second hand, right hand man.
person.
Yeah.
Right hand
Right
person.
hand person. So I don't know who it is that shares it all the time, but they do. And I find I'm like so grateful because I feel like it's so different to what most people are doing
Yeah,
there.
yeah. You've heard me talk many times about how the idea that visionary art has to be,
Right.
all happy or
Yeah.
psychedelic and happy and bright and upbeat, and it's like anybody who's had a psychedelic experience knows that's not all there is to the story.
That's yeah.
A big part of
100%.
it is dark, is dark imagery.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. And it like the thing is like, especially with how I see my work as like psychedelic, I guess, it's so much influenced by my personal experiences with psychedelics, which
Mm.
aren't just like, oh wow, everything's visually beautiful and the curtains are breathing. It's like I go really like deep into like who I am, how the people in my life and yeah, really emotional places. And
Hmm.
it's very beyond for me, which
Right.
I enjoy even when it's real sad and horrific. Like, you feel like it's like cathartic in a way. But
Yeah, yeah. Now I've
so,
had like, times when your ego's sort of breaking down. I kind of figured it's like as it's coming up and you get past you ideally you get past this threshold. I haven't tripped in a long time, just
yeah,
for the record. But
yeah,
when I was younger,
too long.
um you get to a threshold and then it's like it's like great, it's amazing, and you feel enlightened, and you can understand everything, and it's incredible. But you have to reach this peak, and it's kind of harrowing getting up to that point. And it's like I felt like I would see this stuff when I closed my eyes, and I wasn't afraid of it though. I never like was like, oh my God, I can't
Mhm.
believe I'm seeing this. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. And it was like, and
Yeah,
I feel like it was like a visual representation of my ego breaking down. So it was like all these like snakes and skulls, but all like in a
mm.
Giger style, just kind of like
Oh,
very dark and creepy, but more like, green and purple, like electric green and purple, just
yeah,
super
yeah,
amazing looking.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so it's like I would say even Alex Gray would agree that the light side of the psychedelic experience is overrepresented in the visionary art scene.
yeah,
So you're point being, you being in that scene, kind of being in both scenes is good. It's good for both scenes,
yeah,
really.
yeah. I think it's good. Do you know what? Actually, I've noticed a little bit of a trend with, and I think it's a post-pandemic symptom, is that there have been quite a few people doing like a bit of darker stuff, or at least a painting that is a
Yay.
bit darker than what they normally
That's
do.
good.
And I think yeah, it is. But I think it's like they can't not, after something like the pandy,
Yeah.
they can't not express that. And
Right.
I think I'm just more wired that way naturally, where I feel, I don't know, it's complicated. I have like a resistance to being compassionate and empathetic, but I think I really deeply am. And so I need to express it through my art because it's like uncomfortable for me to do it in a different way.
Oh, so yeah, because I mean, your work, it doesn't seem like it's not empathetic.
No, it is. It's just I think, okay, this is something that happens to me when I take psychedelics, is I really feel like the pain and the suffering of other people. Like I really feel it. And I've felt like I've had experiences where I've fully embodied the pain of the world, and it's really full on. But it's made me realize that I think a lot of that is what I conduct when I paint. It's not always just it is, there's a lot of like my bullshit, but there's a lot of the world's pain that's coming through.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
yeah, because
I am empathetic.
Yeah, because I was gonna say it's like sounds like the opposite. I misunderstood, I guess, but yeah, because your stuff seems very much like empathizing with pain. Empathizing with people who are suffering.
I just have high defenses, I think, from. I don't know if you've heard of attachment theory, but I grew up with two like avoidant type parents, and so those kinds of like more difficult emotions weren't really, accepted in the house.
Oh yeah.
So I think like that's all the stuff that I repressed, and I'm slowly through therapy getting more in contact with. But yeah, I think that's why all of my work has always kind of had that leakage of those emotions that I typically suppress.
Yeah. That's similar to my experience too. It's like, it's almost like and this is, America in the 70s and 80s. It's like, it was very, at least in my neighborhood, my generation of kids, it was like, the negative stuff was just not dealt with at all. Like it didn't exist.
Totally.
It's like if something bad happens, like real bad things happening to people in our family or extended family, and it's like you just don't even talk about them. Like it's just no one knows really what happened to that person because it's like it's so crazy and so different from how I am with my own family, and it's like everyone's very open, and we, I guess because you grow up in that environment, so you learn to break the cycle.
Yeah. Totally.
But man, so I can relate to that, and I think there's probably a pretty similar reason that I was drawn to the dark stuff. It was like, I was relating to it.
Yeah, and it's a safe space to express it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. A lifesaver.
Yeah, totally. I spent a lot of time on my own as a kid, so I think
too.
It was just natural that and oh my God, the stories that I would like, some of the stories that I would write, and when you're playing with dolls and shit, all of it was like pretty fucked up. Think about it. Yeah.
I guess it's a little more unusual for a female to be doing fucked up dark stuff when you're a kid. It's like little boys seem to be drawn to. I mean, it's not like as much as sports and stuff, but it's there, and a lot of boys, they seem to be more naturally attracted to horror and stuff, but not maybe. I don't know. No,
it's definitely more unusual in girls, I think. But
yeah, so because I got two granddaughters. One of them, they're both not that into horror or dark stuff at all, and one especially is just so girly. And it's just like, it's just how she is. She's just so girly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cute.
Yeah. Well, are they just two girls, like the sisters?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's so different. I mean, I had three brothers.
Oh wow, okay.
It's such a different.
Wow.
There's a different energy in the house, and I think my dad's he's a man's man. So, it was just an extremely masculine household.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And I grew up on a farm as well. Or it's not like a big farm or anything, but it was like a little hobby farm.
And where was this?
So it was like motorbikes, and it's on the Mornington Peninsula in south of Victoria. So, well, it was in like the inland part that just like smells like cow shit, but yeah, it was the country, but not like country. It's not fully rural or anything.
Right.
Rural. I hate that word.
Rural.
Rural. Yeah. So it was like very boyish. Like, I mean, I rode horses and stuff as well, but motorbikes and spending a lot of time outdoors, and then constantly playing video games. That was the other thing.
Okay.
Once that was the thing. Yeah.
Right. And anime, as we talked about in the hidden or the episode no one will ever hear, the first 20 minutes of us talking. Yeah. So you were like, one thing that you'd mentioned, we were talking about that, is you were like more of a writer when you were a kid, and a creative writer, and more into cartoons and anime and stuff like that. Which is another thing. My granddaughters are both totally into anime. It's such a trip. Amazing. But my son is too. Cool. My kid is, and I think he's like, I don't know, somewhere around your age. So it's like I never played them anime, so I don't know where it all came from. They just found it on their own.
It's just so visually stunning. That's the thing.
It's amazing. It's just
gorgeous. The only problem I ever have with it is some of the story and some of the acting is a bit like atrocious. Yeah. But which can be really unfortunate.
Yeah, my son is still into it. He's always telling me, you got to watch this anime. It's so amazing. Like all these weird, crazy monsters. And but I think maybe he turned them on to.
That's like, I mean, I know these days, you can, they can really achieve a lot with live action stuff and computer graphics and making it look right. But the amazing thing about animation is that they can do anything. They can literally do anything at any time, and it's so like incredible what they can do. And you believe it because it's a cartoon. Like you're more under that suspension of disbelief.
Yeah. Have you heard about that Spider-Verse movie everyone's talking about? It's just came out. It's like an animated Spider-Man in the Spider-Verse.
Like Spider-Man?
Yeah. Everybody is saying it's like the most amazing movie. It's just like beautiful. Oh, wow. It looks like it was created by artists. Like every frame of it is a beautiful piece of art.
Is it AI? I don't know.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like Spider-Man eating spaghetti. You ever see those Will Smith eating spaghetti AI videos? Or Trump eating an octopus. It's like so disturbing.
Yeah, so disturbing.
I love it.
No, I hadn't seen it. Someone did post something about it though, actually. But I've never been a huge fan of Spider-Man. I like Batman.
Yeah, that's funny. But that's I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like I'm seeing it from just all these people who are like, I'm not an animation fan, I'm not a superhero fan. It's just amazing. So like from different types of people, not like because I haven't seen any of the superhero movies or comic book. I haven't seen any of them.
Really? Not even Batman.
Well, okay, yeah, but like, come on. Okay, all right. I watched the Batman one,
Joker?
I think. But I don't remember. Yeah, I saw Joker, but I mean all like the DC,
the shit ones. Yeah,
I just haven't. I just was never that into superheroes when I was a kid. So
no,
I mean, I was a little bit, but not like crazy. I like the monsters. I was just so all about the monsters. But
yeah, I've always No, I've always been about the villains. This is
Yeah,
like, no matter what it is, I always like the villains the
same here.
most.
Yeah, yeah. They're so much more interesting to me. It's like,
They're always more interesting. They're always more complicated. You usually get to see their background story.
mm-hmm.
They're not just like heroes seem to be these one-dimensional beings that just come along and they're just going to save the day.
Right.
And it's like, okay, cool. But yeah, the villains are more complex. They're usually like they have some redeeming qualities, but they're also do evil things. And so you have this in your mind, you're not quite sure how you feel
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what they're doing. And it's better.
Yeah. Like elicits more complex emotions in you because it's like you kind
It
of,
feels more real too.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You kind of empathize with them, but then they're bad and you don't like what they're doing. So that's always, I
Yeah.
don't know. I just, I always say the example of the Garden of Earthly Delights, the Hieronymus Bosch painting.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
everyone talks about the hell side. No one ever talks about the other, the other parts that
So
are.
true.
It's like there's
Yeah.
it's so much like cooler,
It's just
just so
cooler.
much more interesting.
So true. Yeah.
But so okay,
Yeah.
so let's go back to the beginning. You with
Oh, yeah.
your art in school.
Oh,
You
yeah.
not getting into art
Yeah.
until you were 28.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Sorry to
yeah.
make you talk about this again, but once
No,
we
no,
get
it's
past
okay.
this, we'll be good. It's still recording. I'm keeping an eye on this, so we're all good.
Oh, yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, primary school. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. So I always had the creative impulse. And I did draw and stuff, and that was what was more giving me that praise. I
Hmm.
said, like, teachers would pull my mum aside and be like, okay, like she's really, really good at this.
Hmm.
And then, I'd be like, ooh, little dopamine kick. And so that would kind of like kept me into it. But I even remember in high school, one year I didn't choose art. Like when we were having electives, I didn't choose art. And I'm like, what the fuck? I mean, I was so fucking lost in high school, so it's not that much of a surprise. But like, I think back on that, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't choose it. That was so weird. And then I went back and was doing it again.
Huh.
And oh my God, high school, oh Jesus Christ, my poor teacher. Some of the things oh my God, that I submitted, like she, I mean, it's lucky that she's a female, I guess. But yeah, some stuff was like pretty not okay considering my age.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah. And I was just like, I don't know. That's just weird, I guess. Weird, weird.
Yeah, yeah. It sounds like you had the creative bug, and you were naturally interested in more weird shit than maybe the
Yeah.
average kid, or especially the average little girl.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I've got this. I was trying to think about like origins of like the dark art, I guess. One story that it just makes me laugh so much. And I really wish that I could read it to this day. It's like, oh, I'd love to know what I put teachers through having to read that. Because there was like this scholarship to get into my high school because I went to like a fancy high school. And we had to write a story. They gave us a picture and you had to write a story about it. And the picture was of a bike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I wrote this story about somebody getting into this horrific bike accident. Like, and I just remember the details of like, like the spokes and like getting wrapped up inside the metal frame and like all this insane shit that I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, can you imagine reading that from like a 12-year-old girl? Like, it's insane. Oh
You
my
were
God.
you like a did you dress like a goth kid or anything or
I did in later years,
okay, so you
but
kind of got
I
it.
like, yeah, yeah. I remember watching The Craft in grade 6 and I was like, oh my, like I was obsessed with Nancy. I thought
uh
she was so cool.
I worked on
She's the
that,
one.
right?
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh no,
I
actually, I think you
think
mentioned it in a
yeah,
podcast
yeah.
recently.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they cut out the thing I did though. I did like an old age makeup
Oh,
on the
which one?
it was the there was like a medium. They went and saw a medium or something.
I don't remember.
a psychic.
I haven't watched it in so long.
I don't even know if the
Yeah.
scene at all got in there, but I did this really cool old age makeup on. Do you ever see As Good as It Gets? Do you ever see that movie? Jack Nicholson,
The bell.
the guy with
I don't know.
OCD. He's got OCD, and Jack Nicholson has OCD. Oh my god, it's such a great movie. You gotta see it. It's from the '90s.
No, I know it, but I don't think I've seen it.
I'll watch Soul and Invader Zim.
Okay.
You watch As Good as It Gets.
Oh my God. Yes, please. Everybody should watch Invader Zim.
Yes, Invader Zim. Everybody,
Invader Zim, I think, has been one of the biggest influences on me for many, many reasons.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
It's fucking hilarious. Aside, like it's amazing. The music, like the visual, the aesthetic, and then the voice actor for Zim is just like it's so funny. It's great.
Okay, I'm gonna watch it. Anyway, the woman, woman who I did the makeup on is in As Good as It Gets. She's like, I think she's a neighbor. It's like a short Hispanic woman. Anyway, but my friend Binky did like,
Nancy.
What's that?
Was it Nancy?
No.
Her name Nancy? I think it was.
I don't
The
remember.
bad one, the easy one.
I haven't seen it since it first came out. I should watch it again. My friend Jim Binky, he's been on. My best friend. He's been on the show. He did that where her hair fell out.
Oh wow!
Did you remember that where
I vaguely remember
one
that.
girl's
Yeah,
hair fell out, and there was some
the main girl. And then she changes her hair color at one time, and then anyway,
it's like her head gets all like scabby and her hair. I don't remember. Anyway,
yeah, she's got those like crazy smile lines up to the side. That one.
I don't remember.
Anyways, whatever.
I'm gonna write that down
We've
too.
got
I
a
need
movie
to see
that we
it.
both only vaguely remember. But
So anyway,
anyways,
what we were
it's
talking
special.
about is you're in the craft, the movie,
Yes.
Gothy.
So I saw that before. Sorry, at the end of primary school, and I was like, it's just straight away. I was like, wow, they're fucking cool. Like everything they were wearing, the makeup. Like I was like, yeah. But then I was like kind of too scared to do it at school until way later, basically. And then I did become kind of gothy.
Okay. So how did you get into art then? Because you said you didn't get into really pursuing your artwork until you were 28.
Yeah.
You mentioned. So how did this happen?
So it was like a slow, like just dipping my toe for years kind of situation where I even how old was I? I don't know. I can't do the maths, but yeah, in 2010. Okay. All right. So I would have been like 23. Yeah. No, 22, 23. Anyways, whatever. So I did a diploma of visual arts and I really enjoyed that. But, and that was the first time that I'd really oil painted. And then I kind of like, I would just do stuff, but I never really like committed to it. I never like tried.
Right.
And that I think has been one of my biggest issues over my entire life is like not just like really giving it everything. And so, yeah, I just kind of dabbled. And then years later at the end of 2015 was when I'd had this like realization of, yeah, this is what I want to do. I've just been resisting it forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do it then. Like I'm going to do it every day. And yeah. And even then, and then at the time I was in New York and I moved to Mexico for like 4 months. I lived there for 4 months and I just drew and painted every single day for 4 months. And in that time, the difference was massive.
Wow.
Like it was, by the end of it, I was like, whoa, like I've noticeably improved in drawing months.
Yeah, that's a pretty
So it
short
was
amount
like
of time.
really, yeah, it was crazy. And so I was like, oh, this is it. And the thing is, I've always been like quite obsessive. I have quite an obsessive kind of brain.
Mm-hmm.
And I just realized that I obsessed over all this other stuff and I never obsessed over this thing that like matters to me.
Yeah.
Like why not use that? Like this is superpower that I have that I could use to get better at something. And so that was kind of like the beginning of that. But yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's like it's funny because, being that I'm old, 2015, when you get older, it's like 2015 doesn't seem that long ago to me.
I know.
It's like the older you get, especially, it's like it gets faster and faster, and it's like,
Totally.
holy shit.
No, it doesn't seem like that long ago. It kind of isn't, but
yeah,
it is.
that's like what, 8 years ago? I mean,
It's 8 years ago.
So you've
It
been,
depends on who you talk to.
yeah, right. Yeah, like the first 8 years of your life take forever. Those seem like
Yeah, exactly.
real long.
Well, like
school year seems.
somebody recently was like, "Oh, have you been painting a long time?" And I was like, "Oh, not really, like 8 years."
Yeah.
And his face, I was like, "Oh, the only reason I don't feel like it's a lot is because I talk to people that have been painting for like, 10, 20 years."
Yeah.
And
8 years is a good.
That's
8 years is a good long
there.
time. Yeah, that's a good amount of time. So but it's like it's also been 8 years of you busting your ass and really working hard too.
Yeah.
Like committing and really, going for it. Not just dabbling.
Yeah. No, it wasn't just dabbling. It was like I would work on the weekends and then 5 days a week. That was all I did. And I think I could have benefited. Like, it wasn't until 2018 that I did a painting course with some teachers, and I learned so much in just, I think that was 9 days. Just in 9 days, huge. So I kind of wish that I'd just been doing that straight from the beginning.
Right.
Just like workshops and done heaps of those.
Right.
Because you just learn like at an exponential rate.
Was it in in-person classes?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the best to
100%.
See what they're doing right up close, or have them correct you right there,
Yeah. No, it's better. And you're surrounded by other people, and they ask questions and you learn from their questions and you learn from their way of doing it. Like the whole thing is like this big symbiotic, I don't know.
Yeah.
Progression.
I agree. Yeah. It's like an energy thing.
It is. It's fucking fun. Like I've done quite a few workshops, and I really I love doing them. I don't see a reason to not keep doing them.
Yeah, they're great. So how did you, when did you start showing your work? How long after?
I basically straight away. And it's funny because I've heard you say like a million times, like, don't show too early or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I'm a sharer. I'm a sharer. So.
I mean, it's, that's how it goes these days. That's kind of what everybody does,
Yeah, true.
I did it, when I started, my first paintings, I was showing them at like any shows I could get in. So I get it.
Yeah, it's just they're just so different now that like.
Yeah, right.
I don't regret it, and like it was fun, and like so many people were really, really supportive. So it was amazing. But now, like on my website, I can't have any of it on my website.
Yeah, right.
It's too different. So
right. Yeah. That's a point everyone comes to as an artist, is like when you get to the point where you're like, okay, I got to get rid of the old stuff off my website.
Yeah. Yeah. Clarify your like aesthetic.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Which I think I'm still working on. Like I have no delusions about being like there. But it's much more there.
Yeah. Yeah. These are your best pieces yet. So I mean, these are, to me, these paintings are like your most fully realized vision. Seems like to me,
Yeah. I think, they're closer to like what I think I'm working towards, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
They're definitely a lot. So I'm happy.
Good. I mean, were you getting in shows, and how'd you start? How'd you start
I just did everything. Like I've always just done everything myself, basically.
You mean selling stuff like online or what?
Yeah, well, doing the exhibitions, I had friends that owned bars, and so I showed in bars. Or there was the first one that I did was this really awesome bar that has changed its vibe a bit now, but anyways, is super cool in Melbourne, and they always had they have resident artists for month-long shows.
Hmm.
Anyway, so I did first one there, and then yeah, I haven't really been in any show, except for the Dark Art Emporium,
Okay.
which I've done. I've done three of their shows,
Yeah, it's got to be.
which is really amazing.
Yeah, yeah, they're great. They're great. Um, it's got to
Wish I
be.
could go.
It's an added difficulty living in Australia when all the shows are in
So
America.
annoying. Yeah. I wish I could just go. Like, I just want to go and check. Like, I want to go and visit these galleries.
Yeah,
That's my
I mean, you just got
biggest.
to go to LA. That's where, all the dark
So
art
far
galleries
away.
are pretty much
Yeah,
for the most part.
yeah. Oh, I was lucky enough to have gone to Last Rites when it was in New York,
Oh,
and
cool.
I'm
Yeah, that's amazing.
so fucking grateful that I got to do that.
Yeah, that was an incredible gallery. It's crazy.
Insane. It was so cool.
You'll probably
Just
never
the
see another
vibe.
gallery like that in your life. It was really
No
kind of a
way.
once
It
in a
was
life. Well, Dark Art Emporium has a similar vibe, that not as
yeah.
maybe extreme as Paul's Place.
That one was. It was like it felt like you were walking to a church or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if I saw he had two different galleries. I think maybe I saw the first one.
No, I
Um,
go.
yeah, there was a second one that I don't think I saw, but Dark Art Emporium
It's
is
just,
like you're walking in the Haunted Mansion. It's cool.
yeah,
It's really
cool.
nice. It's super, you know, got a cool, creepy vibe,
Yeah,
you know. Whereas
I'll
Copro
visit
is
one.
more like traditional gallery that's showing dark art, you
Right.
know,
Okay.
a little more
Well,
traditional.
I did get to go to the Geiger Museum as well, Giga Museum. So
Oh, you did?
yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
the Beksinski. So
Are you
a
serious?
little spoiled. Yeah.
Damn. Carrie, who I just had on the podcast,
Yes, I heard her say.
yeah, she sent me pictures. Um,
Oh, did she? We
yeah.
weren't allowed to take photos when I was there.
Really? She sent me a
Yeah.
ton of pictures. Maybe she was sneaking them.
Bitch. I'm so jealous. When I was there, I was like trying to sneak my phone up and like I got a couple of like dodgy photos, but
Yeah.
yeah, we weren't allowed to. Like the security guy was like well and truly onto me.
What same with the Giger Museum too?
Yeah, same with Giga.
Really? That's
Yeah,
so weird.
so annoying.
It's not like that at all anywhere around
I
here.
know.
It's strange.
No, no, it's really unusual.
What are people? It's not.
But maybe they just want people to be there, or they want people. You know what? In fact, some museums could stand to like put in that rule because when you go to like the MoMA, for example, trying to like look at a painting and there's a million
All
phones
right.
going in front of you taking photos. It's just like
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
So, maybe it's for the best.
Yeah, I suppose. But even if you post a picture online, it's still not the same as being there in person. So, you know.
True. But it does separate you from your experience if you're just like looking at it through a phone and getting a good
Right.
photo. And,
Yeah, yeah,
you know,
yeah. Definitely. Wow. Well, that's cool. I'm jealous.
yes, thought I'd rub it in.
Yeah. So, talk about the show you got coming up.
Um, yes. So the whole I'm doing it with my friend Oscar Heathmore.
Hmm.
He's a Newcastle artist, which is another part of New South Wales. I'm in New South Wales, but he's about 6 hours away from me.
Okay.
Yeah, and his art is it's amazing. It's very like I guess it's more visionary, but it's really beautifully painted, bright colors, and yeah, it's really cool. It's sick. I think we'll look really good together.
Yeah.
Our work. But yeah, and I really like, because I was going to just do one on my own, and then I was like, actually, it makes more sense to do it with someone else, because then you're kind of like doubling your audience.
Yeah. Plus, you don't have to make as many pieces.
Yeah, and it's more fun. Like, it's just fun doing shows with, other people that you're kind of in it together.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so James suggested him, and James, my partner, and I was like, ooh, I don't know, like, he's so good though. I feel like, I don't know, like, yeah, I'll feel not as good next to him. But then I was like, no, it's good. Like,
that's how you
rise to it.
Yeah, that's how you push to the rising to the occasion. You gotta push yourself like that.
Yeah,
and you did it. You did it.
And yeah. So yeah, it should be really cool. And yeah, so that I had that title in my head, the In Shadow Realms title, because it's all shadow work kind of based. But then when I like said to him about like, oh, what are we going to call the show? I was like, I don't really know how to say. I basically was like, we can call it whatever you want, but I'm calling my part that. So what do you want to call it? And he was like, no, my work's kind of realmy, so that works.
Oh, so it's like the name of the show for both artists?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. For our whole show. Yeah. So it's exciting.
How'd you go about coming up with the work? What was the process?
With the ideas?
Yeah. Did you just kind of wing it and just come up with things that, resonated with you? Or did you kind of have like a theme, or was it a color theme, or is it?
I remember well, there was a color theme, yes. So, well, there was supposed to be, but I have broken that theme. I broke it a few times.
That's
actually
good.
At one stage I looked at everything and I was like, hang on a second, I keep resisting the color blue, and the whole point was the color blue.
Right.
But it was like classic avoidant attachment style, where I was like, oh, blue, nah, that's, and then I would do something red, and I was like, this is just classic me. But even in the color world, I'm like still like trying to suppress that spectrum of emotion. But yeah, so the blue was supposed to be the kind of the glue, because it represented the darkness. I guess it represented like the shadow side. And yeah, all the pieces, I don't know. Yeah, they just kind of come. Like one of them I do photo shoots with models, and then I like look at them, and then things sort of come to me that way.
So you conceive of the pieces when you have the models there, or do you have the ideas beforehand and then you set them up, or?
I have had them beforehand and then set them up, but most of the time it's looking at the photo. Like I just take a bunch of different poses, and I'll have like a little library of kind of different poses that I want them to do. One of the biggest benefits of working with people who are already used to modeling, though, is that they just do poses that look cool naturally.
Yeah, right.
And then those trigger ideas.
Yeah.
I've been lucky that some of the people I've worked with are like very naturally good at posing.
That's what Steve Clough.
Yeah.
He
Shout out to Steve.
Yeah, Steve. Steve's awesome. He's also does the mentorship. And
yeah, I know. I spoke to him recently about that.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, he's awesome. But he said the same, where it becomes like when you're working with models, it can become like a collaborative thing. Like you'll have an idea, but they'll kind of like add to it, and that's that's such a fun way of working, especially as artists. Generally, we're so like solitary and. Yes. And then when you get an opportunity to work with someone, it's like it opens up your creativity a lot, I think.
Totally.
Yeah,
well, I don't really ever have this like thing that I come in and go, all right, you got to do this, or this is the idea or anything like that. I mean, I have certain things that I always say that I like. Like I don't like slack hands. They have to be, things like that. That's all. That's all I really kind of say.
So that's like kind of your sketching process in a way,
Yeah,
right?
kind of.
Setting up shots and
yeah, I saw your comment today where you like that's where you doodle or
right.
that's where your ideas come from. But I realize like my doodles are such worlds away from what I paint. Like they're very cartoony, and unless I'm actually like sitting down to do a drawing,
Right.
but just doodling, it's like they're really not like what I paint. And I remember that being like a bit of an issue for me years ago, where I was like, I don't understand how people kind of marry the two. Like mine just look.
Well,
because I guess on cartoons and stuff. So
I said that because you made a great point, and you should plug your Patreon too, because it was on your Patreon, which is what is your Patreon? It's patreon.com
/Ash Darq, ASHDARQ.
Okay, so you're very active on it, which is great. But you mentioned that you see things. You'll see something that's not really there as a point of inspiration, and some of my best ideas have come that way, where like I'm seeing something, you see something just for a split second, like you see something weird. I forgot what you call the name.
Pareidolia.
Was that
pareidolia, where you see faces and stuff?
Yeah, pareidolia. It's like I have that a lot. Like I'll see something in a tree or something, just like out of the corner of my eye, and it's like a split second. You get it. You see some weird face or something. You're like, oh man, I gotta draw that or something. But the way I do it with my sketching is that I'll just doodle and screw around, and there's like one little. Sometimes I'll see like a mistake or something in the mess that looks like something, and then I'll kind of pull that out and keep further developing it. But a lot of I think my coolest ideas are seeing something accidentally, Yeah.
It seems to be. I think I know it's like that's a natural thing, is seeing faces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But then when that's what I realized, and I guess what I wrote the post about was like when I look at faces, and especially when they're on those different angles and stuff, you start to see stuff in them. I don't know.
Yeah.
The face is already there, so my brain makes up other things. I guess. But
really...
I mean, I love portraiture and I like painting people, but I also think that just painting people is boring. So I like, making it weirder.
Yeah. I mean, why have you gone so weird? Because it's like you could just have painted portraits, but you're definitely like in this trippy, bright colors and really not, you're not concerned with, traditional natural colors and things. It's like everything's like crazy colors, which is great. I love it. But I'm just curious, what do you think led you to that? Yeah, why? I mean, when you started, did you try like painting normal things, or was it like always in your head that it's these weird dreamlike images?
Yeah, my first show is all like pretty standard. Oh, it's not standard portraiture, but it was just like people in scenes. Like, because I like painting the human body, and I'm more interested in human than like landscape, for example. Really just God. Anyways, like I don't know. I just so bored by it when I'm doing it.
With landscape?
But people, yeah.
Yeah.
Some people do it amazingly.
I know.
And they make it cool.
I've never been
but I'm like,
drawn to it myself.
Yeah.
And people even told me you should. I know
Sorry.
people even said like you should do landscapes. And it's like I don't have a feeling for it. I just
exactly.
It doesn't compel me.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like to do with that wanting to connect to people thing, like from having like an avoidant household that you grow up in.
Maybe
like it's like wanting to connect with people. I think it's something like that because it's like it's almost like infantile that I'm like I like faces, because it's the first thing as kids. But I Yeah, there's just something about it. And it's not enough if it's just a face. I'm like, I know that you can like still analyze it and stuff, but it's still not mysterious enough, really, for me. It's just a little too whatever. I don't know. I like there being a bit of a story, whatever it is.
But I mean, you know, you could have a story of just a woman with a hat, you know, but it's like, you know, I'm not criticizing. Obviously, this is what I do too. It's
no,
like,
no, I know.
I'm into this kind of stuff, so I'm just curious, like, why you think you were drawn to
why not?
so weird,
Right.
the weird side of things, you know, a weird
I think,
expression of things.
I don't know, but it probably is. I think probably does come from like being into cartoons and stuff. Like there's a, I think
the fantasy.
I just like the story, and I am very story oriented. Like I like, for me, the movies that I like, it's all character.
Yeah.
Like if I don't like the characters, then I don't care. Like I don't give a shit. You know, I can't do a visual movie. It has to have character development, and I have to, I don't know. So I don't know. I think it's something to do with that. It's something to think about for sure.
Yeah, because I mean, it's like, you know, it's the realm of fantasy, you know, the imaginal realms that, you know, I think a lot of us as dark artists are painting, really, you know, this kind of fantasy sort of imaginary dream world.
Surreal.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know it's like I don't like the word fantasy because it's got this association with stuff that I feel like doesn't relate to my artwork at all, but that's what it is, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
It is a good way to describe it, but
fantastical.
Yeah, that's Beksinski's thing, was his fantastic period. Which that doesn't sound right either to me, but I mean, it doesn't matter ultimately. But the weird thing about the idea of fantasy as a category is like, it's regarded as like escapism in a way. And it's like, I don't feel like that's maybe one of the things I don't like. It also sounds very like light, on the light side of things too. Fantasy, it's like fairies and stuff, which is all fine, but I just don't feel like it relates to my work. But it's like, I don't feel like your paintings here, or what I'm doing, or a lot of dark artists, are about escapism at all. It's like the opposite, but it is still in the fantasy kind of realm, you know? So maybe the idea that fantasy is escapism is just bullshit. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Because like dreams are fantasy too, but they're deep and serious, and they're not, you know, you're facing things.
Depends on the dream, I guess.
True. But I mean, it's all in the fantasy realm. It's kind of in your head, and it's like,
I don't know how often I've ever really thought about it as fantasy.
You know what I'm saying?
I think
you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's not traditional reality-based stuff, you know?
Yeah, unreality.
Yeah, unreality. Man, that's better than fantasy. Unreality. I like that better. It sounds weirder.
Fantasy makes me think of like swords and shit for some reason.
Yeah, exactly. Or swords and sorcerers and like fairies and trolls, but which is I like too. That's cool, but it's not really.
Yeah, no, it is. It is cool.
You know, I like more psychologically.
Yeah, I think that's maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Like, I should think more about these things, but it is more psychological.
Yeah.
And I think when there's a portrait, I mean, it's just a representation. It's not the same as there being, and I know that it still implies stuff, and the color implies stuff. I don't know. It's not enough.
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. It's not enough. That's like a really good way to say it. It's just not, it's not enough to do a normal portrait, but I so appreciate just straight portraiture, you know, especially when it's done really well, it's so impressive. I just feel like, you know, to me, and it sounds like, I feel like kind of embarrassed to say it, like it sounds adolescent or something, but
Right.
it's like I would love this if it was some kind of monstery thing. It's just like I can't help it.
Yeah.
I can't help it.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
I love. It's so
Yeah.
I just think it's so cool. And when you can
Yes.
do that and have it not be immature, when you can do it and have it be like
Mm.
as mature as a, straight serious portrait, I think that's when it's really
Yeah.
successful.
I was just thinking then, like, if you did a straight portrait, but you had like a really what's the word? Like if it was really stylized, that's cool.
Hmm.
But just yeah, I think and it's something that I feel myself working more towards because I really love stylized figures. Like
Yeah.
just a realistic depiction of a person is like it's cool, but it's not like just take a photo. Whereas if and people start to stylize them a lot, like I
Yeah,
don't know.
you're not seeing that in reality. That's the other thing. It's like,
Yeah,
you
then it's fucking cool because then you can see all the
you're seeing
I don't
something
know.
that you can't normally see, which is cool,
Yeah.
whereas like a figure or a regular face, it's like you're seeing that all the time. So it's not as,
Yes. Yeah, it
but
doesn't pack as much or something. I don't know.
yeah. And I know I've mentioned this to you before in the mentorship classes, but I think I've mentioned it to you because I've mentioned it to other students before. It's like when you are doing like weird colors and weird creatures, your figures are not white people. It's like it takes
Yeah.
race out of it,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Yeah.
is I kind of feel like with the monster stuff I do, it's like suddenly it's not a racial issue, and it's like as
Right.
white people generally, most of the people are white just culturally, so it's like
Yeah.
those are your models, a lot of times if they're your
Yeah,
friends and
totally.
stuff. So it's like,
Yeah.
because I remember early on, I was like, when I was sort of figuring out what I was going to do, I was like, I don't just want to paint white people portraits.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine, but it's
Yeah.
like, I don't know. I like to
Yeah.
be able
Someone
to,
else can do it.
yeah, I like to be able to just like go totally outside of that, not having
Yeah. I
even
think,
that be an
yeah, I like
issue, you know?
it to just to be like more of a human archetype than like
Right.
a
Yeah.
literal, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
It takes that kind of cultural aspect out of it.
And people can, anybody can project onto it then, which
Right.
is
It's
also
more,
cool.
yeah, it's more
That's
open to everybody, I
yeah,
think, in a way, you
right.
know?
Yeah, yeah.
And also,
But yeah,
no, go ahead.
yeah. Well, I was just going to say that's also been kind of a benefit of painting women that have like short hair or are bald,
Mm-hmm.
because some people like mostly guys see them as guys.
Oh, yeah. I did that on one of your,
That's just like
on
that.
one of your
That's that.
paintings.
Yeah. But that's that projection
Yeah.
thing,
Yeah.
because
You're right.
we see ourselves in everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's interesting. I was going to say something. I had a good one. I had a good thing to say.
ooh,
Um, Never mind. It's gone.
no.
It's my, I want
Anyway.
one time every show I forget something, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a custom. It's a tradition.
Yeah.
Um,
His signature style.
it was something about dark art. It was, yeah, my signature styles. I forget one thing at least every episode. No, it was something about, dark art being universal too, in a way, because
Yes.
everybody, but it's like, I guess you could say this about lots of things, but dark art, dark, creepy, weird shit like that, feelings of emotion, dark emotions, which I think a lot of this kind of work is expressing, is
Yes.
common to
Yeah.
everybody, every single person. No,
Oh,
any
I mean,
and
yeah,
and it's like a big part of
literally
most
everybody.
people's lives. If you look at the whole
Yes.
world on a whole, like we're in the 1% of the world, compared to,
Yeah.
most of the world is starving and totally poor. So it's like,
Oh,
it's a huge,
the human experience is literally suffering. That is
Yeah.
the one thing that connects everybody.
Mhm.
Everybody dies. Everybody loses somebody they love, and
yeah,
it's
everybody's scared at some point.
everybody's scared. No one knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
Just something that's comforting for me.
Yeah.
It's like, everybody. That's just, and life is indifferent. Like nature is indifferent. It's violent and aggressive and uncaring. And we are here trying to like do something cool, and then we die. And so a lot of people struggle with that,
Yeah.
just that concept. And I think that's why it's universal though.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's part of life. But nature is caring in this sense. Animals take care of their
Yeah,
their young,
it's true.
and that's part of
Yeah.
nature. That's almost like nature's caring comes from the creatures caring for each
Well,
other.
the love, that's like nature's uncaring in the sense that things are chaotic and unpredictable, and there's no control. But I guess the caring aspect, that's, and it's such a, what's the word? Like it's a common thing that's, what's that word? It's like a common trope.
Yeah.
Like love is that thing that exists in the universe that is, it's also semi-wild and unpredictable, but it's what makes people keep going.
Right. Yeah.
So it's the only antidote to all of the chaos of life.
Right. But the thing is about love is that it's also can, another thing that bothers me is love gets tossed around as like this weak thing, like this weak, not strong, but it's like, it can destroy you. It can totally destroy you. It's like you putting yourself in danger when you let yourself love someone. You get danger of being hurt in all kinds of different ways. And it's also like a thing that can like, people can lift cars up.
It makes you vulnerable.
It makes you vulnerable, but it also can make you like do amazing superhuman things because you're love, for your child or whatever. So it's like
totally
just this idea that love is this weak thing. I guess maybe that's kind of
you have to be brave.
Yeah, right.
Like you have to be brave because you have to like there is risk involved. There's risk of pain and and there's risk of embarrassment. There's heaps of risks. That's like that's one of those things that's such a classic like avoidant household thing. It's all any of those kinds of emotions like have made me uncomfortable over the years, but it's like you're more of, I'm trying not to say that word, hang on, you're more like it's weaker to resist it because you're scared of getting hurt.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing.
Think of another word.
Yeah, that's like with these.
Exactly. That makes you more. That makes you.
Yeah.
I just have to say, it makes you more of a pussy to avoid it.
Right. Exactly.
Not less.
Yeah, which is so. It's so obviously that is so obviously the case that it trips me out that there's this whole like bro culture with these Andrew Tate types and these incel types. It's like how it's like so obvious that these people are scared and weak.
Yes. Broken.
Yeah. It's like it's
but
sad.
I mean you have to it is sad. Because you have to have you got to think about it from why do they respond to those things? Because they're scared, they're hurt, I don't know. It's it's that pendulum swinging thing.
Yeah.
And I think everybody having like this really strong opinion about stuff just forces the other people to have the opposite opinion.
I know.
Everybody wants to fight over everything, and the internet is just getting worse and worse. It really I don't know.
It's such
that
a
freaks
mess.
me out.
It's like I think about that too. It's like, okay, you see someone saying some horrible shit some horrible,
Yeah.
racist, terrible thing. And then you respond in a way that's natural. You respond in
Right.
the other way, and it just makes that person more defensive, right?
Yes.
So you're pushing them further that way. But then if you, it's like there's no other way. It's like almost like this is the way it has to go for some reason. It's just like because we're looking for this alternative, like, and then you've got the alternative is people that are like, I'm in the center. Yeah, I'm in the
Yeah.
center. I'm logical and I'm in the center and I see both sides. It's like you can't see both sides of horrible shit like Nazism and
No,
stuff.
that's true.
You can't
Yeah.
engage in Nazis and be like, "Oh, I see your
No, you
point about
can't
killing the
condone
Jews."
it.
It's like
Yeah, you can't condone it. But there's also ways of dealing with it where you can actually get people to recognize that they're stuck in this like unconscious
yeah.
spewing of hate based on probably something really ridiculous. Or but the thing is, I think the problem is that having zero patience, zero empathy, and zero understanding for each other, which is the
Right.
internet, just makes everybody dig their heels deeper. And so
Yeah.
even though you can't condone that stuff, you also like just spitting hate back doesn't
Yeah,
work.
I know. It's like,
So-
but this comes to what I always say. You can't win. This is my
No, you
theory on
can't.
life. You can't win. It's like it's rigged.
No.
You can't win. It's like
You can't win.
that's the
It's
one
so
thing I
true.
always come back to. It's like you just can't
Yes.
win. So it's like you got to just
You know that
do your best because that's all
yeah,
you can do.
you just gotta that's all you can do, and you can't fight every battle. That's the other thing.
Right.
So you know that it's pretty of a contentious thing to bring up, but that Westboro
Oh yeah, Baptist Church. Yeah,
group or
it's
whatever.
crazy.
Yeah, so
People.
hectic. Like what they, I mean, I don't know if there's still a thing, but it's insane what they
Yeah,
were doing or
totally insane.
still do or whatever. But one of those girls that was part of it, like she grew up in that family, she's not part of it anymore or whatever.
Yeah.
And the way that she got out was from people like being patient and reasonable with her and just trying to
Oh.
get her to see the other side. And then she like it was like she woke up. She was
Wow.
like, God, I can't believe I've been doing this. Like it's insane. You know?
Yeah, that's interesting.
That makes me think that there's hope for anybody if the right like I'm not saying that I'm qualified to do that at all because I get very
Yeah.
people arc me up, but so I know I'm not the right person, but somebody is, and they should be out there fighting the good fight.
Well, I one thing I think everyone can do is that when a person comes out of some kind of like cult like thinking in that way and becomes aware and kind of is like, oh, that was wrong. Is it
Yeah.
you everyone should be willing to like go, it's cool, you can come on in, whereas a lot of people now are just like, you did it once,
Yeah, it's
you're out.
unforgivable.
Yeah, you're that, and that is like very wrong thing to
Yeah,
do.
I agree.
But
Yeah.
anyway, how does this relate to dark art?
I don't know. Well, because this is what dark art, this
Yes.
is why it exists.
Yeah. I kind of think
There are a lot of broken people in the world.
yeah, and I sort of think that because I only say that half joking because it's like that's kind of what led us into this conversation, but I really think like in a way as well that artwork can get through to people on this weird subconscious level that maybe talking to them even can't. It's like this weird form of communication, to where you may not be able to break through to someone with words. You could maybe do it with art because it hits you in a different place,
Well, it's pretty primal. Like our visual communication was more important at one stage than
right.
talk. Like that's a relatively new thing in our whatever the word is,
Development.
evolution. Yeah.
Evolution. And it's
Yeah,
also
so-
it's also the happens before you learn to communicate when you're a baby. You see things before you. I don't know. You cry. That's a form of communication.
True.
But you know what I'm saying.
You you hear the vacuuming upstairs
No,
or not?
no, I can't hear.
Oh no, they've stopped it. That's all right.
Oh,
We
someone.
live under the house of somebody else, and I said to her, "Do you mind just not vacuuming or anything between these times?"
Oops.
Anyways,
What time is it there?
10:40 a.m.
Oh, oh, you got up early for this.
Yeah. No, I get up early every morning though, so it's just
Oh, okay. You're not a late
yeah.
dark art person that stays up late?
No, I used to be. I spent like 10 years doing shift work and stuff, so I'd be go to bed like really late. But oh my God, before I moved from Melbourne, I was just like, I desperately want a normal, like I want to be a healthy, wake up at 6 a.m. person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too.
Moving to the coast is so nice.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's all coast in Australia, but like, well, it's not all coast, but anyway. Beach regional town life it's so different to where I was, but yeah. It's nice.
I miss the ocean. That's where I grew up, was like a coastal town. And now I'm up inland near the mountains. Yeah.
I thought you still were.
No, I mean, it's, I'm in Southern California, so it's an hour drive. I can get to the beach, but I used to live,
Oh, wow.
I used to live right on the coast, like, like a walk to the beach practically.
Yeah. Okay.
So I grew up with that. 10 degrees cooler everywhere.
But you were never a surfy?
No, I thought I was at one point. I thought about learning to surf, and the surfers, like I've said this many times, the surfers were the jocks in my school.
Yeah,
they were like the assholes. The surfers were the fucking assholes, man. They were just like the bullies. They were not the cool people like Fast Times at Ridgemont High guy, Jeff Spicoli. Fast Times at yeah. Sorry, it's probably before your time. You ever seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High? That's another one you got to see.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. It's got Sean Penn as the surfer dude. It's like, it was kind of what put him on the map.
Ridgemont
High, yeah.
High?
It was a super popular. It was huge in the 80s. Right. But I think it was the 80s. Yeah. You have to see it just because his performance is it's like he plays the perfect surfer dude. It's amazing.
Okay, all right.
It's amazing. Yeah, you'll appreciate it. Anyway, it's like, that portrayed surfers is cool, but the surfers I knew were like assholes that would kick your ass if you went on their part of the beach. And
totally.
They were not cool.
I think I think it's a thing everywhere actually, because it's definitely a thing. People get very like, locals only. Like get really territorial.
And it's like, it's a bummer because it's like I should have grown up surfing.
Why aren't they more relaxed?
I don't know, especially when they got the whole.
They're on the beach. Yeah,
they're like stoners and they surf. It's
I know. Yeah, it's
long
really
hair hippie guys. It's like, it's so weird. I was shocked. I was weird. Like, wow, these guys are assholes.
Yeah, yeah.
But
yeah, well, my coastal town is pretty like it's changing, but it's mostly like a retirement sort of place. There's a lot of old people here.
Oh, that's I love that. At this point in my life, I'm all about the quiet life. Old people are good. Everything mellow.
Yeah. They're chill. It just means that there's not like great food, or like that kind of thing. There are starting to be places, but yeah, it's still up and coming.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the town I live in now. We moved in, it was like a ghost town. It used to be, I think one town over was like I think it was the crack hub of the United States or something, or some huge, yeah, it was like there was a skinheads and tweakers and right next to us in the city next over, and like all
you guys were like, let's buy a house here.
No. I was we were living in Hollywood before at first, which is kind of crazy.
Uh,
And then we moved down to
yeah.
San Pedro, where I'm from. And then my wife didn't like it down there because it's like totally cut off from the rest of the world. Like it's like there's one way in and one way out, and it's
Okay.
not near. It wasn't near any. She liked Hollywood and L.A. and stuff. And so we saw. I was and then I was commuting like 50 minutes a day every way to where we live now because that's where my job was, and I had like a permanent position there. And then we saw a place and we just started renting, and then we fell in love with the town, and then the town got really nice, and it was like boarded up buildings and stuff. Like in the downtown, it was dead, and now it's like
Yeah.
super expansive,
Yeah.
traffic everywhere because it's like a hot place to be. It's like a
Place to
really
be.
cool
Right.
little town now. So
Is that so? Do you think that that's the effect that you guys had on the
yeah, we
town? Or?
just everywhere we go, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's like we got the Midas touch.
Yeah.
No, it was like and then buying a house was the only good financial decision I ever made.
Oh my God. Yeah, I bet. How long ago did you do that? God, it's
20
like mummy
years,
then.
20 years ago, 21
Wow.
years ago.
Yeah, that was such a fucking great idea then.
Yeah.
It's so unreachable now.
I know.
It's
Yeah,
just
it's like it's like it's like my kid. It's like there's no way he could buy a house. No one can buy a house now. It's like I couldn't buy this house. No way in hell if it was for what it's worth now. No
Yeah.
way.
The thing is, if you sell it, all you can do is buy probably a shitter
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
It's like,
Or move to like, out in the middle of nowhere in another state or something. It's like I don't really want to move.
no, it's a real shame. It's a real shame
Yeah.
for us. But
It'll change though. It'll change. Everything's always changing.
I don't know. Maybe.
It doesn't seem
I mean,
like it because you probably your whole life it seemed like this unattainable thing.
I know. Well, the thing is, I didn't really care, but like the older I get, the more I'm like, oh, it would be nice. Like it'd be nice. I wish I could just like do whatever I want to the
Yeah.
house, basically.
Yeah.
That's what it
But
really comes down.
the thing that I did, and it sounds dumb, but I was 20 years ago I was 35.
Yeah.
So I didn't think about how much upkeep there is. It's like, and you have to pay
Yes.
for everything. It's like, man,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
are. I was just talking to my wife the other day. It's like we are the Addams family of the neighborhood. We all dress. We both dress in black. We don't even think about it, and our house is all fucked up. Like we let the grass die because of during the water shortage, and we haven't really done anything with
Oh,
it. So
wow.
it's all like ugly weeds out there, and then I can't afford to paint the house, so all the paint's chipping off. The roof is all
That's
fucked up.
well, at least from the outside, you don't look like a house that you should rob,
Yeah, that's true. That's
That's an upside.
that's true. That's a good way. That makes me feel better about it. But man, it's embarrassing because it's like the house next to me is so nice. It's like the guy
Yeah.
his yard is pristine, and I'm like, anyway, that's beside the point.
Yeah, I think that's definitely something that's crossed my mind before when I've had friends who own their house and then they're like, oh shit, they've got a leak, it's 20 grand. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There's hidden costs of ownership that you don't really
Yeah,
think about.
yeah.
You
And when
know.
and making money as an artist, it's like
Mm.
I don't even have time to fix anything. I don't have time.
Yeah.
I could go and probably paint the house, or it's like I don't even have time because I constantly just have to work just to pay mortgage and stuff. So it's just like
Yeah. Yeah, but you could do a swap. You could get somebody who's a painter.
that's what I need to. Yeah. I
I
mean,
would fucking 100%. I would come and paint your house for a painting. Like,
I know. It's true. It's so weird that you said that because my friend Josh was telling me the other day. He said the exact same thing like yesterday or the day before. He's like, you just got to find a person who's construction or whatever.
Dude. Totally. I've got a friend who's a painter. Where does he live? Des Moines. Is that Iowa? No,
Yeah.
Iowa. Yeah, it is. That's right. 'Cause it's where it's
That's a little too
Yeah,
far.
he'll come down. He loves art.
That's funny. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm putting the word out. Any house painters in LA, I would trade you a big ass amazing painting to paint my house.
Yeah,
Any roofers out there?
such a good deal. Roofers,
I need a new roof.
lawn guys.
Yeah. Landscapers. I would make the most amazing artwork for you. That's what they say Picasso used to do to pay his meals.
Totally.
He was just like,
I mean, why wouldn't you?
You do a doodle on a napkin? Okay.
Yeah.
Not there yet. Well, so...
I don't know. I'm sure you have... Yeah.
I don't
There
know.
enough. Plenty of people, I'm sure.
So, how do you have any plans for the future? Like, do you have any like big goals? Are you just doing basically what I did, which was like start, not know what I was doing and just keep putting one foot in front of the other? That's how I started. It was, I always felt like I just went, okay, I got to do this thing. I'm going to do it. And I just did it. And all of a sudden, like 10 years had gone by and I'm like, because I had no idea what I was doing, how to start a business. I just kept putting, I would do just the next thing that I needed to do. And then I'm looking behind me like, I don't know how I got here, and I don't know what I'm doing or where I'm going. But I know that I'm like still treading water. I'm still alive doing this thing. So that's how I do.
Well, this is your job to tell. It's your job to tell me what to do. But no, I have thought about some things. Like, it's crossed my mind about what kind of a career that I would like. But like I did a what are they called? Like intensive workshop in Italy with a couple of teachers and a bunch of people, as in I was a student.
Mm-hmm.
And I would love to be part of something like that someday. Like
to teaching.
Yeah, just to be in, like, to do what those guys do, like lots of people do, where they go to Italy and they have these like amazing classes. It's sick. Like, you hang out with everybody and everyone paints and you eat like a king. And, and this one was like this, it was like a, what's the word? Like a medieval kind of place. So there's all these little corridors and it's amazing. So I'd love to do something like that someday.
That's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. Things like that, I guess.
I'd
like to.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'd like workshops and stuff because I just believe in them. I think they're amazing.
We didn't bring up your festival life. It's like a lot of your career has been
my life.
Doing these festivals, live painting at festivals, right?
Yeah. And festival galleries. I think festival galleries have been, until the Darq Art Emporium really, have been the most inclusive in terms of what they would show. Well, that they would show me, I guess.
Festival galleries being galleries at festivals, like they pop up kind of things.
Yeah. So we call them doofs over here. They're like music festivals or music and lifestyle festivals. So lots of hippies, but lots of different types of people. Just alternatives. What I actually think is that it's probably mostly people with ADHD that have never really fit into society that go to these festivals because they feel like they belong, and that's 100% how I felt when I first went. But yeah, they're just these huge electronic music festivals with like trance music or psychedelic trance, and these days it's pretty mixed about what you hear. But when I first started going, mostly psytrance, and you just like rave in the bush. It's like pretty sick. It's amazing.
It's like it's like a Burning Man vibe, right?
Right. Yeah. Burning Man. I mean, Burning Man is that on crack. Like Burning Man is that so amazing.
I'm just thinking like the desert and and outdoors and the hippies,
all the art
and the art,
like the Yeah, the visual, the attention paid to the visual experience. Like I go to metal festivals and I'm just like, it's just a stage.
Oh,
And that's
interesting.
it.
Yeah, that's weird. Why is that? I
You
wonder.
know, with lighting and stuff, but they don't pay enough attention, I think, to like, I mean, how sick would it be to have a festival gallery, a metal festival gallery with
Yeah.
like dark art?
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
That
They
would be
should do it.
amazing. That should be standard in all those things.
Yeah, I think it should be too. I mean, they can take a cut of the sales and then they only have something to gain.
Metal fans are totally into dark art. I mean, they're into art.
Yes.
But they're into dark
Yeah,
art,
they like
you know?
cool stuff.
Yeah.
That's they like spending their money on cool shit.
I'm too
But
old.
yeah,
Maybe you should start it.
I've thought about it. I thought about it
Propose
years
it.
ago, and I just never really. But yeah, I should try to pitch it because
Right.
that's like more of my crowd, really. Like I definitely get enough people at normal doofs at like these psychedelic festivals that are interested in what I do, but not compared to like, you know, some of my friends in these festival galleries kill it. They make so much money.
Really?
They do so well.
Selling originals at the show? At these galleries?
Selling merch.
Oh, okay. Right.
Like I mean, you don't, most of them, you don't really take originals out there because they're subject to the elements. Our
Right.
festivals are like quite hot, windy, dusty,
Yeah.
rain, you know, so you don't really want to risk it with an original, although some people do.
Mm.
But tapestries, face masks,
Mm.
stickers is like a big one. What else do they sell? I don't know. All that stuff.
So
And they make so much money.
do you
really
have
well.
do you sell merch when you do those? Because every time I see you pictures of you at these events, it's like you're live painting on some big ass
Yes. Yeah,
mural
yeah.
or something. So you also have like
Yeah,
a merch
yeah.
table and
Yes. So in the gallery, you have like a space to show, and then they give you like some space to put your merch. So you bring your own table
Mhm.
material, and then you set out all that stuff. I'm only like, I'm still budding in the merch area,
Mhm.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But it's surprising how much money you can make on stickers, to be honest.
Really?
It always shocks me. Yeah. They just seem like you wouldn't make that much money. But last time I did Esoteric, which is my favorite festival, I think it was like $800 on stickers or something.
Really?
It's crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's just me. And I don't even sell that well compared to some of my friends. Like,
That's
so
pretty good.
it's great. And then they're amazing because they paid me to be there to do some stuff with the gallery and then give me tickets to sell to do murals.
Mhm.
So I love that gallery for that reason. They really like respect their visual artists more than most festivals do.
That's cool.
And they take such a small cut of the gallery. They only take 10%.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I guess they can afford to do it if they're, making all their money from ticket sales and concessions and all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, it's the best. It's the sickest festival.
Yeah, that's just, it seemed like that's a big part of your artistic identity is festivals.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was, festivals were like a big, I don't know, or just that whole scene, I guess, yeah, it's drug taking scene as well. But it was like really like brought me out of my shell. I was in this like super awkward teenage state that just like never ended.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know, and it started like going to these parties and just making best friends with people like in a split second. You never see them again. Right. It was like felt amazing. And I still really love them. I just never go unless, I have a free ticket or, I just don't spend money on it.
So it seems like you kind of, your career as an artist was more through the festival scene than the gallery scene. And now you're kind of like moving into the gallery scene a little bit more.
Yes. Yeah. And I think that's actually Zoe Rain, also in the Dark Art Society and also an incredible artist.
Hey, Zoe.
Her and I were talking. Hey, Zoe. We're talking the other day about how like our work is kind of fine arty. We're like fine arty in the festival galleries, and maybe that's partly why it doesn't do as well as some of the people in there, because they're, I don't know, very festival art style.
Yeah, it's more of traditional visionary art at those festivals too.
Yeah, typically. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is fine. I mean, I don't mind. Like, I don't get offended by it. It's awesome when I meet people who actually do connect with it.
You're right.
That makes it matters more than whether or not I'm doing better than other people in sales or anything.
Yeah, that's just kind of like our lot in life, I think, in a way, to be in that position, to be kind of the underdog and not quite mainstream, because and except for the tattoo scene. Have you done any tattoo conventions or anything? Because that's a place where they're like totally into dark art and
the conventions?
Yeah.
No.
If you have any tattoo conventions, that'd be worth trying.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if you know Ben Howe, but he's a Australian artist, amazing artist. He does a lot with Bain Art, but he was at the tattoo convention, and it was like, it's perfect. Like, yeah, darker art in those places is awesome. Actually, I applied for the Oddities and Curiosities convention, expo.
That sounds
which is an American thing, but they're doing one here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so
that sounds
fingers
good.
Crossed. Regardless, I'm going anyway because it sounds amazing.
Yeah,
we don't have anything like that here. So
yeah, that's. I mean, we're getting near the end here, but I did want to bring up again a little bit more about just before we go. I wanted to the visionary dark art thing that you and I have talked about many times in the mentorship. It's like the it's funny. It's like the dark side of the visionary art crowd is not dark visionary art, but the opposite. It's like love and light to the point of being lame and obnoxious. It's like not integrating the dark side. There's that element of the visionary scene that it's like too positive in a way. If that's a weird way of putting it, but you know what I'm saying. It's like
like disingenuous.
Yeah, it's like there should be both. Like Alex Gray is a perfect example. He's done some dark paintings, and he was a monster kid. He was into monsters as a kid, and he has an appreciation for it. And he always dresses in black too. It's kind of like, he's kind of got this goth vibe about him. He's definitely, you could tell there's like, he's got an appreciation for it.
Yeah. Well, he was depressed.
Yeah, right.
When he met Allison, so he certainly has his like dark inclinations for sure.
Yeah,
but all the skulls and stuff in his artwork, like oh my God, I can't wait to go to Cosm. It looks so amazing.
I know. It looks incredible. I can't believe it. They got to be so happy.
Like, I'm just seeing those paintings in real life. Like, it's like they don't even really exist. They just seem like internet pictures.
You're talking about Alex's stuff? Alex's bit? Yeah. I've seen those in person because I went there when they were building it.
Right.
Incredible. Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, I'm excited to eventually.
Yeah, you got to go. See that. You got to go for sure.
So good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. I feel like he really has the correct attitude about it. Like he is open to showing dark work and appreciating dark artists. Like when I showed him first showed him my work, Adam Jones hooked me up.
Yeah.
And like, cause I wanted to, when I was just starting out. Yeah. Yeah. It's funny. Cause it's like I had little printouts of my paintings and a portfolio and I was like showing it to him. Yeah, I've told the story
Yeah.
before. He just was like looking through it. He's like, "Oh yeah, you'll make it." And that was my first.
Yeah.
That was my first
Oh,
like,
that's so nice.
wow. Alex Gray said he just matter of factly knew that I would make it if I kept going in this direction, and that was such a huge thing for me as an artist. But he kind of exemplifies people that appreciate dark art. It's like they're so nice. They're always so nice, and it's like some people that are like fully the love and light types are like devious and
Egomaniacs.
egocentric, egomaniacs. It's like it's just so ironic that we get the second class citizenship for what we're doing, and we're like generally usually the nice guys and girls. It's like
yeah.
But I guess that's just the
well,
way
it's
of
a
the world.
healthier way to process those feelings.
Right.
Like listening to metal, like metalheads are always like these sweet nerdy dudes. And they're like,
I know. Yeah, it's
where all the aggression goes.
Yeah. I just, I bring it up all the time because I think it's just such an obvious fact, and it's not talked about enough, and it just seems like it gets overlooked all the time. It's not. It should be common knowledge. It should be common knowledge that the dark art people are unusually a nice group of people.
Yeah.
That should be common knowledge. So I'm going to keep bringing it up all the time.
Yeah.
And we get shit on for it.
Yeah. Promote it. That's part of the.
Yes. It's part of our brand. We're the nice guys in the evil world.
Well, it's I know, and it's funny because it's that whole like judging a book by its cover sort of thing, but just assuming that people are evil or like I don't know, just based on what they're wearing, what they listen to, the kind of art that they make is just like insane. I mean, it makes me think of that because I've been thinking about it because of that. What's it called? Petition. I've got no words today. It's sort of the worst time to be doing a podcast, but whatever. That Damien Eccles posted because he, have you seen what's it called? The West Memphis 3.
Yeah.
Paradise Lost.
Mm-hmm.
Documentary.
Yeah. The West.
I mean, that's like prime example of just absolute insanity, just based on what they look like.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he kind of, that's the classic example of how dangerous that kind of attitude is,
Yeah. Controlling of people, yeah.
And Damien's the nicest guy in the world. He's like so sweet. He's such a sweet guy.
He's so cool.
Yeah, it's really, it's scary, but.
It is scary.
Anyways,
it is part of human nature to some degree, but
Yeah. Well, we're spreading the good news of dark art. That's what we do as dark artists.
Yeah.
So people can know.
Yeah.
Embrace your dark side.
Yeah. Well, you're doing a great job of that. So.
Oh, thanks. Someone had to do it.
Yeah. May as well be a authentically nice guy.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I fell into it.
Yeah.
Anyway, well,
yeah.
It's been great talking to you. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming on the show, and and plug your things again. You got your Patreon, you got your
Patreon, Instagram. I've got everything because I'm a computer nerd. Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. What else is there?
It's all Ash Darq.
Yeah, it's all Ash Darq or Ash Darq art. Ash Darq.
See.
And then what was the other thing? Oh yeah, the show.
The
okay.
show. Yes.
June 23rd at Black Spark Cultural Centre.
Black
Oscar
Spark
Heathmore.
Cultural Center. Okay, yes. And then we'll put all the links in the description, so you can look in the description. And yeah, well, good luck with the show. I'm excited. Excited to hear how it goes. I hope you sell it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
but you know,
Hopefully. But if I do, I'm okay with it. There's some of them I kind of want to hang around for a little bit longer, so it would be
yeah.
nice.
I mean,
Just-
you did the main thing, which is you made great paintings. You know, that's the real
Yeah.
reward. And if you're lucky, you sell them as someone
Yeah.
who knows.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
had
exactly.
shows I had shows where I didn't sell, where I only sold one painting, and the paintings were all really good. Crazy.
Mm,
So
yeah.
sales don't mean a thing, but
No.
it's always nice.
Yeah, but yeah, it's still it'd still be a weird feeling not selling anything. But I have already sold
Yeah,
one.
yeah. It was a show I had to pay. I had to fly to New York for and everything. It cost me. Oh, I just ate shit on that show. It was terrible.
Was it
Terrible.
during because it's a bit of a, what do you call it, recession right now? Was it during a recession or was it random?
2000. Yeah, maybe it was. It was like
Yeah.
maybe 2000. I don't remember. 2008, 2009. So it was somewhere around the big recession. 2008. I don't know.
Hey, oh yeah, that was
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Man, it was terrible.
Yeah.
But
All
anyway.
right. Well then, I'm not going to hold my breath, but it would be nice.
Yes. Yeah. But the paintings look amazing. It looks great. I'm excited for you. And yeah, thanks for coming on. So
Well, thanks so much for having me.
yes, and don't hang up, and then you got to say goodbye. Remember, you got to say goodbye.
Is it
Goodbye,
still
audience.
recording?
Yes, I'm still recording. Don't hang up.
Bye, audience.
Goodbye, everybody.